Hello, Sagittarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Gilded Tarot Royale by Churro Marchetti, text by Barbara Moore. At the bottom here is the website, llewellyn.com. There's a couple other social media things. If you want to freeze frame and check those out, feel free. Supportive Oracle cards. Spellcasting Oracle cards by Flavia, Barbara, and Lizbeth. On the back here, we have some websites in the center. She Who Is Art pops out to me all the time, but if there's anything else there you want to check out, feel free to freeze frame and check out whatever you're interested in. Okay. What do we have for Sagittarius? Okay, I'm going to do this. That's it? One more. Okay. The first thing I keep coming into is like certain people are going to be left out. I don't think that's something you have to feel bad about. Certain people are going to be left out. But you have a lot of good things coming in. I feel like you've been working hard at something. You've been putting a lot of effort into something. You've been very diligent with something. If I can pick this card up. So you got the Queen of Pentacles where you're standing. Don't get caught up in the gender. You got the Knight of Pentacles in your thoughts. And you got the Page of Cups. Page of Cups in the past. Which is telling me, like, whatever this was, it might have started very slow. It might have been hard to get into to start with. But you've come a long way with it. And you've put a lot of effort into it. For some of you, this could be studies, possibly. This could be getting to know somebody. For a lot of you, I feel like this is job-related. In the sense of, like, maybe I didn't know what I was doing at first. And at one point, I didn't think I'd ever know what I was doing. But you have been diligently working at it. And you have figured out a lot more than you thought you would. And you're very stable with the situation is what I'm also getting. Whatever the situation is, though, it does have a very regimented, like, this is how this has to go. It's got a lot of, like, boundaries, restrictions, I would dare say. And I do feel like you do long for a time where you had more freedom. But whatever this situation is, it seems like that's not really going to be a part of this situation. So for this part of your life, I feel like there's a certain freedom to it that I don't feel like I'm getting back, at least not for right now. But it's also about what you want from the situation is why. Whatever the situation is, I do feel like you very much like it. And there are a lot of possibilities going forward, but there are boundaries to achieve these things. It does seem like, you know, your energy is naturally very free and very expansive. You like some randomness, maybe a lot of randomness. You just like to do whatever you need to do in the moment. This situation doesn't seem to allow that, but it's also about there are possibilities going forward, but they have to be more planned out. Yeah, whether I like it or not, there's a lot of planning with this situation. A lot of earth energy coming in with this, I'm noticing. A lot of control. But you do seem to love it. Your attitude brings in a lot of fresh air. And ironically, you do, as much as you can, there is some freedom to it. You try to add it in wherever you can. You give other people this ability to enjoy the situation more than they would. This, to me, reminds me of, like, a job that, like, there's certain things that have to happen during the day at certain times. And maybe you have to write notes, or maybe you have to, like, mark this and mark that. So, like, the randomness, the only randomness you can get is, like, maybe there's something you have to write down with a pen and paper. Maybe you have very colorful paper and very colorful pens, and maybe that's how you liven that up. You just switch out the colors and the pens every now and then. Maybe you're allowed to do that. Maybe the desk at which you work, you make that as colorful and fun as you can, and you switch that out a lot for your own enjoyment. Maybe that's how you're keeping that as lively as possible. But the situation is like, I'm always at this spot, I'm always doing these things at these times. You're making it as lively as you can. You do seem to bring in a lot of lively energy for other people too, so you do keep things fresh as they can be. What is this? What is this? What is this over here? People love you. I don't think that's surprising. And people know that you're going to stick with the situation. You got the Sun card and you got the Seven of Swords reversed. People are very dependent on you and believe that you're going to be there for the whole situation. People have no question that you're completely loyal to the situation. And there are people here who easily depend on you and have no question that you are worth the time. They have no question, too, again, that you're completely loyal to the situation and you will be here till the end. Whatever that end may be. This is very interesting. So what's coming on here with the people being left out thing? Because that's what we started with. I feel like that's what we're heading towards. Because I do feel like there has to be a change going forward. Okay. This does not seem to be a shock to you in any sort of color. Six of Wands reversed and the Death card. If other people walk away, that's on them. That might be your chance to keep things lively for you too. You're very self-sufficient, and you move forward as necessary. Things... Somebody's, like, I feel like somebody else is failing and leaving. But your basic responsibilities stay the same. Somebody else is failing and leaving, but you seem to keep going. You got the Six of Wands reversed, that's a failure, and that's the Death card also came out on the dice. And then this, I feel you are this Nine of Pentacles, it's somebody very self-sufficient, and then even though other people are leaving, I feel like you're not. You're watching other people leave. They're giving you a heads up. Try not to hold that energy. Usually Sagittarius lets go, but I feel like what you're left behind with and the responsibilities you're left behind with, that could be kind of a difficult energy to deal with. You will thrive. You will keep going. They're saying whatever's leaving, try not to hold a negative energy against it. Try to make peace with it. Even though you're Sagittarius, and Sagittarius seems to like to get along, there's something about this that it might just kind of stick with you a little bit, where you're not happy with somebody. Be aware of it, even if it's down deep, and you don't really express it to other people. If it's like more like something you keep on the inside, they're saying still find a way to release that energy and heal that energy so it doesn't hold you back later. This is where people get left out. Because you're going to continue to succeed, but because of the changes, you might also omit certain people from the situation as you see fit. When you find out the ins and outs of like whoever left and why they left and the connections other people had to that, you may decide, it's the answers you find may get you to move certain people out of the fold or out of the situation. Because it's something about you getting answers, you finding out these answers and not liking what you're finding, and deciding to omit certain people because they didn't tell you something sooner. Certain people are going to be left out. They have to be left out. So the situation is going to it's going to be rebuilt is basically what's going to happen. Reconstituted. Can you give me a little bit more about that? Yeah. Certain people, like, you're not going to wait for the next shoe to fall. Before they decide to fail on you, you're going to kind of like just move them out of the way. Before I wait for you to have your next bad decision because this other person left, I'm going to move you out of the way and just take care of this and rebuild this to my own liking. That way, I don't have to wait for somebody else to fail. And I'm going to try to do it as peacefully as possible. I feel like it's as peacefully as possible. But I'm not waiting for somebody else to walk away on this situation. I'm rebuilding the situation is what I'm getting. It seems to be like it's just something I have to do. I don't really have the luxury of choosing, so I just do it because I feel like it needs to be done. There's something about the answers too. when you find out why that person left, that seems to color a lot of what happens next. It's kind of like once I see what they were doing and what they were choosing and why they chose what they chose, that's what gets you to make all these choices going forward. Like, I'm not just going to wait for the next person to decide that this isn't going to work for them. I'm going to clean house now and rebuild this correctly, but that way we don't have this problem again. That seems to be a lot. It has a lot to do with what's going on here. All right, so we got to get there first. So I feel like they're just kind of giving you a heads up. They're trying to give you like a warning, like certain things are coming. When that change comes, and I feel like for a lot of you, it might be just in the back of your head, like, oh, this is that change that was supposed to happen. Just make peace with certain people are going to be left out, and that's just how it has to happen. That's just how it has to go. It will happen sooner or later. You could try to make it more peaceful. It's just going to drag it out. Just getting it done and cleaning house and then just rebuilding it the way it needs to be rebuilt. The sooner you just commit to it and do it, the easier it goes. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.